Hello everyone, this is Chris Crescents. I'm in London in the UK and I'm here to interview Greek Cypriot British violinist Andrew. How you
Good
doing, my
evening.
friend?
Very well, thank
Yeah.
you. Very
Can
well.
you tell us your full name?
Yeah, my dad's English, my mum's Greek Cypriot, so my name's Andreas Michali, and then it's an English surname, Hubbard. And the Cypriot name is Prokopiou from the east coast of Cyprus,
Oh wow.
and by marriage from Carpasia, all the villages and things on the Karpas Peninsula, more or less. We've got
That's
relatives.
wonderful. And I understand you play the violin, correct?
Yeah, I graduated from the Royal Academy of Music in piano and violin and composition. And violin, of course, is easier to carry around, so um, that's what I've got with me this evening.
I'm just letting everybody know right at towards the end of the interview you're gonna play the violin for us like for a couple of minutes towards the end so people will get an idea, a sample of your work.
That'd be a pleasure. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Tell me more about you. Where were you born and where did you go to school?
Well, I went to school in Bedford, which
Uh,
is a very famous place name. Of course, in America, everything's called Bedford because of the Duke and Duchess of, I think it's the Marquis of Tavistock and the Duke and Duchess of Bedford, blah, blah, blah. So I went to school there, and it was nice being a musician because we had very fine classical youth music in the county. And both myself and my cousin Marios Ayeros, we both went to the academy to study music, and loads of well-known musicians are from Bedford that you'll hear with radio shows on the Radio 3 and Classic FM, and you'll see them on the stage. Opera singers, Rachel Nichols, a great friend of mine. So it was a musically rich town to grow up in. Um, of course, it's Middle England. It's in the middle of England, so it's not by a you know we don't have a big Vuna, or we're not by the sea, and there's nothing amazingly exciting, but what there is quite a good musical community there, which is nice.
tell me about your music. Do you have any original recordings, or how do you, I know you have your own studio. How does work? You have an album, right? A couple of albums. Tell us about your albums.
Yeah, basically I was working full time in theatre, which was a piano job, piano and keyboards,
Hmm.
and
And where was that?
that was well, I still work. I'm still part time on Phantom of the Opera in the
Mhm.
West End of London, playing the main organ part in that, and that's I think that's the world's most famous show.
Yeah, it
Apparently,
is. Yeah.
it was voted. And then that led to a full time job at the Almeida Theatre with lots of big names like Carey Mulligan and Chris Marshall and loads of really talented people basically on that show. And then, a friend of mine was talking to me about being a recording artist because he'd sold lots and lots and lots of albums, which he made himself. So I thought, well, I'll have a go at that. I'll set up a little studio. And of course, the little studio became a bigger studio and a bigger studio. And so far, I've sold more than 25,000 copies of my
That's
CDs.
wonderful.
And so the violin took off a little bit at that point with a concert tour, solo concert tour, and that was in the spring. And we're just releasing the videos, hence that Danny Boy, which thank you very much, Chris, by the way, for
Mhm.
featuring on the group. And there'll be a tour in the autumn with some brilliant artists who will be guest starring on the show, one of whom is a Greek-speaking and Turkish-speaking guy from Pontus, in Turkey.
Mhm.
There's an opera singer. There's all sorts of different people that we're going to have on the autumn tour. Hopefully, we'll come to Chicago with any luck,
Yeah, that's right.
and Greece
I'll,
and Cyprus.
I'll come and
Yeah.
see you. Now, how did you get into the to music? What was your influences? Who influenced you, and who do you really like?
Yeah, so I got into music by seeing a friend of mine get his neck broken on the rugby field, and I thought, well, I better do some music and hide. So that's how I got into music, and by coincidence, I was in this incredibly fertile
Mhm.
city for music, Bedford, as it was very, very fertile for music at the time. My main influences, there's too many really. My cousin was an influence on me, the oboist Marius Argyros.
Mhm.
My piano teacher Anna Maria Stanchik, the one who myself and my school piano teacher Richard Hayes went for lessons with, like a kind of bursary for master classes. And then my other influences, obviously some of my professors at the academy were brilliant. But musical influences are very, very diverse because music is very diverse. It's a wonderful thing. So, you know, Bach, of course, the composer's composer. Chopin, who's the pianist's composer. Joni Mitchell, who takes the piano and puts it into a different feeling, different vibe. Hendrix, of course, who's the guitarist's composer. Lots and lots of different influences that I have. Yeah.
Now tell me more about your Cypriot roots. When did your parents come to England?
Well,
or your grandparents?
Well, my mum came to a mixed group of Greek and Turkish Cypriots. I don't know about Armenian and the other, and Latin and Maronite maybe, but a mixed group of student nurses and doctors came from Famagusta, from Varosi to Manchester, and when they arrived, they left the blue skies and they came to Manchester with the industrial chimneys, and it rained a lot in Manchester, and they were crying and they wanted to go back.
Wow, what year was that?
That was probably 1960 or thereabouts, 61 to something like that. The reason my mum married an English guy was because he sort of fell in love with her and he kept following her home after parties at the university, so she couldn't really get rid of him. So there was a Cypriot doctor who was interested, but Dad was more persistent, so which is kind of hard to imagine because us Cypriots are very persistent people and when we want something. But anyway, he was more persistent, so I ended up being misos, half English and half Cypriot, yeah. They were from, my mum grew up in Tricomo, and most of her siblings married people from Carpathia, from Karpas, especially from Komatuyalu, where my uncle's from, who was a violinist, Uncle Alikos, and he had a bar in Elyria in Cleveland, Ohio, called Elias Lounge, that the local football team used to, that was their home base kind of thing, to eat and drink in and celebrate after matches and stuff. Anyway, he was from Komatuyalu. My auntie sort of thing, sort of auntie through marriage, lives right near me in Bedford. She's from Komatuyalu. And then some of them were from Riso Carpasson, the Harpas branch of the family. And they ended up as school teachers on the Karpas Peninsula. Many of my relatives, that's what they sort of did before the division of the island. Some of them became refugees, some of them were missing, and some of them left before the island was divided. But yeah, that's right. So, and in a rush, quite a few people became godchildren of some of my relatives.
Wow.
Either Thea Maro or Thea Alava, or maybe both, who are in America and Australia respectively now. Because they were saying, right, you know, what happens if somebody dies? Quick, make them all, you know, make sure they all have a nuna, you know. So so yeah, I think my aunties have quite a few godchildren, probably scattered around the world now.
Now tell me more about your music. How can people, where can they go and see you perform, or where they can purchase your albums or your or anything else that you want to tell us? Do you have a website or Facebook page, or you can feel free to give the address.
Thanks. So the website is just my name, Andrew Hubbard, or Hubbard as it's phonetically done. AndrewHubbard.com. That's the website, which is on my Facebook. My Facebook is Andrew Hubbard Badger, and my music page is, I think, Andrew Hubbard Musician. So yeah, AndrewHubbard.com. You can listen to the music, see videos, purchase CDs, which I can ship anywhere in the world. I have some on me this evening, and yeah, and the web page is brilliant. The website, because it has a fan page, which means that we can have a little blog and we can chat to each other there. And it's really easy to use. My web designer assures me. She's now handed it over to me, so I have to try and operate my own website. So I'm looking forward really to trying that out. It's quite exciting, and having a natter with
Now talk about your concerts. Where did you perform, and where are you going to be performing in the near future?
Well, I mean, in the past I've performed in many places, as diverse as uh, Tokenthro Mirio in Chios, in one of the
In
Greek
Greece.
islands near Turkey, the Homerian Centre, the centre of Homer, right down to sort of like pubs, an Irish pub in Luton called Eddie's Bar. I've done the Albert Hall 4 times, Festival Hall, and the South Bank Centre in London. Obviously, Her Majesty's Theatre in the West End of London, which is ongoing, Phantom. The Almeida Theatre in Islington, just everywhere. The tour was cathedrals mostly, the spring tour, and the autumn tour might differ slightly. It depends which guest stars we have on board. If we have opera singers, it'll probably be cathedrals again. If we have people playing more live-key kind of music, maybe we'll go for an art centre or a theatre instead for those dates. So watch this space. We'll post it all on the website in good time on andrewhubbard.com.
Got it. Now we're going to give a little bit of a sample of your work. You're going to play. You brought your violin here. Let me show you the violin here.
Yeah. So this is.
Tell us more about that violin. Actually,
Well,
it looks kind of
this violin.
amazing.
This violin was made in 1905.
Wow.
In Germany. So who knows its story? It's lived through 2 world wars, which is more than I've done. I hope I don't live through a world war, by the way. And it's been slightly electrified a little bit, but it's a proper acoustic violin. It's just about to go for a makeover. This wonderful man in Canterbury, which is a great cathedral city in England, is going to touch up all the varnish and clean it all so it all looks very nice and beautiful. And it's going to have a new bridge and sound post and all sorts of things very shortly, when I can get a bit of time off to get over to Canterbury.
So give us like a sample. What are you going to play us? Can you tell us the name of a song or?
Well, I've no idea. There's so many tunes, so little time. I mean,
Got it.
I might sort of do a bit of Danny Boy, just because.
Yeah, Danny Boy will be perfect.
I've got a video at the moment, which is the first one from the tour that we're.
It's right on YouTube,
releasing.
and we posted that on Cyprus Culture Group as well.
Yeah, thanks very much, Chris. I actually noticed that just before I set off. That was brilliant.
So we're going to post the link underneath the video, this video as well, so people can see all the other. So this is Andrew Hubbard live in London. Bravo, that was wonderful.
Thank you very much, Chris.
Thank you very much, Andrew, for the interview. And I want to shake your hands like I shake out with everybody. Their hands. Nice to see you here in London.
Thank you. Welcome
And
to
we
London.
will be posting this video in various Facebook groups, and especially the one that I administered, the Cyprus Culture Group, which is a group that has members from all ethnic and religious communities in Cyprus and from all over the world, people that do respect and celebrate the Cyprus culture, all the parts of Cyprus culture, the many cultures of Cyprus culture going back 10,000 years. Thank you again for this interview. And before we close, did you want to say anything to anybody watching this from anywhere in the world about yourself, music, or anything you wanted to leave any message or anything?
Yes, I hope you have a lovely, healthy and happy new year. Come and see one of my shows if you live in England, which we posted on my website in the autumn. They'll start in September, and let's hope that this happens. You see this? This is an island. It doesn't have the sea running down the middle. It's just one island, and let's hope that everybody remembers that it's one island, politically and economically, and that we see a reunified island of Cyprus.
And culturally as well, yeah.
Yeah, culturally, and of course in terms of people having the right to live and work where they fancy. It's such a beautiful place. It's very small. Let's get it together, and we have the new year. There's a good New Year's resolution. So looking forward to meeting people at my shows. There will be some music from Cyprus featuring in some of those, especially the London dates, and probably some artists from Cyprus as well. So that's it really, a message of peace and through music and culture. And thanks very much indeed, Chris, for having me here.
Thank you, Andrew, for coming over here, and we appreciate your music, and hopefully people will come and see your shows and also purchase your albums and promote your music. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Chris.
Thank you.
Bye.